the whole office goes to dinner, and people would make comments about it. And I'm still feeling like, I don't know if I want to talk about my personal life, Maybe eventually with time, I feel more comfortable, I would do it, but I would prefer to be out at work, actually.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Pride Talk, a podcast presented by NAAAP Pride. Our podcast features in-depth conversations with Asian American LGBTQ+ professionals and our allies. Today, we conclude our series of conversations with Dr. Kim Liu. We hope that you have been as moved and inspired by her story as we have. I'm your host, John Ong, and with me here is co-host David Moore. Hi, David.
Hey, John. You and I are so fortunate to have known Kim for a while now, and she brings so much to the NAAAP Pride National Leadership Team. But having this time with her and being a part of this conversation, it's truly been a blessing, and I am glad we have been able to share Kim's journey with our listeners. And we are so grateful to our corporate sponsor, Molson Coors, for being a part of this journey. Because of their generous support, we are able to bring you this series of insightful, funny, and authentic discussions with folks from our tribe, Asian Americans within the LGBTQ+ community, and our allies. As we wrap up the conversation, Dr. Liu shares her thoughts about being out at work, gaining the trust of her patients, using personal pronouns, the importance of allies to the LGBTQ+ community, the role of employee resource groups, and NAAAP Pride. We end our time with a fun, lightning round of questions.
Kim, I want to ask you about being out at work. What do you think about being out at work in your workplace?
I still feel a little bit tricky about it. I work in two different cities. I work in Orlando and I work in Miami. I'm out at work in Orlando, and part of it's probably because, that's where the school was, and everybody knows I'm involved with the local chapter. So a lot of people knows that I'm out, and it's easier for me to come out there. Mm-hmm. The clinic in Miami is a smaller clinic. I'm not out to my boss. I'm still trying to think about, part of it is I'm very private in this office. I don't think my private life has anything to do with my work life. Mm-hmm. But my personal assistant and the front office, they both know I'm gay. But my boss and the nurse practitioner don't know I'm gay. So it's still very tricky. Mm-hmm. I'm still worrying about what they're going to say, or if that's going to affect how they treat me at work. Mm-hmm. But with my patients, I think it helps my patient to know that I'm not straight, because then that's the kind of patient I attract. Yeah. I work a lot with the LGBT community, and they feel more comfortable being able to tell me their health concerns, knowing that I'm not straight. Versus if they have to talk. I have a lot of lesbian patients that when they go to the OBGYN and they ask, are you married? They're like, yes. Or are you using contraception? No. Why not? Well, I'm married. They're like, yes, I'm married to a woman. Why do I need to wear contraception? Right, I'm married. But it doesn't cross their mind. They just make assumptions. Yeah. And a lot of my patients in the LGBT community, they're happy to know that I understand where they're coming from. Or even talking about health condition that only the LGBT community have to deal with. Yeah. As women or men, let's say as a lesbian woman, you may never have sex with a man. So that's a different dynamic in your system compared to a heterosexual woman that is sexually active with a man. Mm-hmm. Chemically, body, everything changes. It's different. Or even a gay man, or even transsexual. I had a couple of transsexual patients that I had this one transsexual patient. She has struggled with her hormones, and her previous doctor didn't know she was transsexual. And so the doctor was giving her medication, reverse the transition, because the doctor did not know she's a transsexual woman. And that's a very important information for us as health providers to know, because we cannot give you a medication that's going to change you back. We need to know this type of situation. And so these are things that the trans community have to deal with, feeling, are they comfortable enough to talk to the healthcare professional or the doctors to know that this is what I'm going through, and worrying about, am I going to get persecuted for it or being treated differently, So in that aspect, I'm okay being out to my patients, but I don't know. I'm still struggling about, okay, do I tell my boss or not? Because I don't know. I don't know like how pertinent that is, my personal life to my job.
Do you feel
I don't.
you have to you get to compare in Orlando and in Miami, and one that you are out in your professional world, the other one that you're not. What do you see the difference
I
between
feel
those
more
two?
relaxed when I'm out.
Okay.
I can be me. I feel that I can make a comment about my partner or make a comment about doing things or be a little bit more flair or whatnot, or make certain kind of jokes, like with my personal assistant here, we can joke about women together and it's fine. He's married to a woman, and and we can just make jokes like that, and it's okay. It's fine. But I feel like with my boss, he's much older. He's, I don't know, 60s, and I don't know, I try to keep it very professional and, not talk about anything about life or whatnot. Like, he would share about his wife and his kids and that sort of thing. And some people, like, sometimes when we go to dinner, the whole office goes to dinner, and people will make comments about it. And I'm still feeling like, I don't know if I want to talk about my personal life, Maybe eventually with time, I feel more comfortable, I would do it. But I would prefer to be out at work, actually. It makes it so much easier. Yeah, because sometimes, let's say, like for the Christmas dinner, like, I don't know if I can. I still think about, should I bring my partner or not? That sort of thing. Well, in Orlando, I can totally do it, and that's fine. But it's just, still trying to figure out my position in this specific clinic and figuring out my, how should I say, like, where I'm standing, I guess, because I've only been at this clinic for 2 years versus the Orlando one. It's been years. Everybody knows. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be, really careful, especially if you're not getting any sort of signal from, like, your boss. If you don't know where they're really at, if they haven't said anything, but that could go either way. Maybe it's that, they really don't care and it's not an issue, and that's why they never talk about it. But I can understand, where you have to tread lightly sometimes, but but once you are out, you just feel that freedom that you can say anything,
Yes. Like, in an ideal world, I'll be out to everybody. The perfect world. Right. I'll be out at work, I'll be out to friends, I'll be out to everybody, and it's fine. Because I don't think my sexuality has to do with people in general. Like, I just want to be me, not talk about sex. But
I don't think it's about that. It's about, like you said, like, if there's, the holiday party that everybody's going to, you should be able to feel comfortable enough that you can bring whoever is important in your life.
Yeah,
exactly.
And also, I also think that coming out at work, that I think whenever we talk about that in our ERG or any situation like that, is it's not that your sexuality is important per se to bring to work. It is the fact that you can be comfortable being who you are at work that make you more productive, because you spend less time tiptoeing around things that I'm afraid that person might know, what the consequences are. You don't have to worry about that anymore. All you need to do is just do your job, because it is not important. If you don't have to worry about that, you can take a big chunk of that effort and energy and just put it back into your work.
I agree. And especially because, like, I think I talk about this a bit at the convention in Atlanta, especially when I speak in Spanish. If I'm not out, I have to be very careful how I use the words, because Spanish is very masculine and feminine in the way you speak. There's like masculine word, feminine words. And so I had to think about it and change when I'm talking about a partner, and say he or they instead of she, if I'm, and so that's very time consuming and a lot of energy put into that. That you're right. That could be used for something else and be productive.
Yeah. And funny thing that you mentioned that, and I think that's a conversation we've had before too, that the pronouns in Mandarin, there's no, at least in spoken language, there's
Yeah,
no differentiation between male and female in pronouns.
yeah,
But in
exactly.
English
So
and in
I can talk
Spanish,
about it
there are.
without issues.
Yeah, without
Yeah,
really necessarily
exactly.
going into the detail of it.
Yes, yes. And so it's hard to talk about things, and people want to know. People are so noisy.
Yeah, just like me, just like us. We were asking you questions. Yeah.
Yeah, like people want to know, and sometimes I'm not sure. Like, okay, do I want them to know this personal detail or not?
Mhm.
And part of it also, like, one of the reasons why at this specific office I chose not to be completely out is I started working there right before the elections, the presidential elections in 2016,
Mhm.
and some people in the office voted for Trump. And so I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not coming out.
Hey,
So,
yeah, the without going
yes.
into politics, but that's a whole other conversations too.
Yes, and
But
seriously, that really made me kind of
apprehensive now, like you
back
like
and
yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not be me
Yeah.
in that workspace, especially because my ex-partner, she's African American, and just like there's so many layers of things. I'm like, I'm not even going there. I'm just gonna keep to myself. I'm just coming here for work, and that's it. So I don't know. Hopefully in a few years, everybody will get to know each other better, and I'll feel more comfortable to be out, because I would prefer to be out and not have to worry about keeping that part of my life separate from work.
Yeah,
Like
because
I've tried.
being out isn't about our sexuality. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
other people can just say, "Well, what did you do this weekend?" Well, we should be able to say the same thing. They're
yeah,
not curious
exactly.
about their straight friends'
Yeah,
sexuality or their coworkers' sexuality. It's, well, what did you do with your husband this weekend? Did you guys go out? Did you
yes,
go to a movie?
yeah,
Well, that we
yeah,
should be able to say the same thing. It
yeah,
shouldn't be focused on our sexuality.
exactly. And I felt like I cannot share that part of me, because now I have to think about, you know, can I say this or can I
Yeah.
not say this?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit frustrating. But hopefully, with time, I really wish this for everybody. That everyone would feel comfortable at workplace
Hmm.
to just be themselves
Right. Again, that's
and
where
to be able
allies come in.
to.
And creating
Yes,
safe spaces for
exactly.
everybody to be who they are.
Yes,
Yeah.
and not worried about, am I going to offend somebody? Am I going
Yeah.
to lose my job? Am I going to say the wrong thing?
Right.
That's still,
And that
unfortunately, still in the back of my head sometimes.
yes, and our listeners, some of our listeners would be straight, and our straight allies listening to this can also find out from the perspective of an LGBTQ coworker what they go through.
Right.
Because sometimes it is so easy for us, no matter how empathetic you are, when it is not, and you're not walking in that person's shoes. Sometimes you don't even think about that being an issue. So when they hear Kim's stories, they can now start thinking about, okay, I know this person that I know is potentially gay or potentially lesbian or whatever at work.
Hmm.
How would they? What actions? What are the things that they could do to signal to you or let you know that it is safe for you to be who you are? That is something. That is something that the straight allies could do at work, making them feel like they are safe there.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Little things that, what are the little things that you wish your coworker or your boss would drop hints for you? What are the things that you wish you would hear so that it would make it easier for you to be who you are at work? In
Mm,
a perfect world, what would you wish to hear?
well, if he had, like, I don't know, for example, like Equality Florida, or what, rainbow sticker or something like that. That I would know, like, okay, he's an ally, and I can talk about it, because it's so hard to tell.
Yeah. What about you, David? I mean, do you have? I mean, you have some straight friends at work who were actively
Yeah, I mean,
making you feel comfortable.
yes. But I had already told them. But I think we were already at that place where, when you start getting the questions often enough, like, what did you do this weekend?
Yeah.
At some point, it just got to me where you just had to say, but because I worked for an airline before I came to my current job, everybody was pretty open at the airline. So, when I came to my current job, 17, 18 years ago, I brought my partner's picture in the first day.
Yeah.
Because I already felt, plus I knew I was in a creative community
Yeah.
where I work now.
Yeah.
So I think I had that sense of it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
And I had already heard from other people that had worked there that they actually had an LGBT ERG.
Mm-hmm.
So I think knowing that ahead of time, I knew there was a safe space. So I brought my partner's picture in.
That's essentially, speaking of, right? And if you work in a corporation or whatever, before you even start working, if you know that there's an LGBT ERG, that is also in a way to make you feel already it's a little safer to be working there. And that's why it's also crucial for us NAAAP to have this program. It's essentially, we needed that. For years we do not have officially saying that, not that we were discriminating before. It's just that now we have that welcoming sign that NAAAP Pride is here and it's safe for everybody.
It's like having the rainbow flag.
It's exactly like it's like having the rainbow flag, for your organization. So it's empowering. It's good.
But now my coworkers ask me, every weekend. I mean, every Monday. What did you and your partner do this weekend? What did So it's become part of the natural conversation, just like they would ask anybody else.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this fun. You're gonna do the lightning round of Q&As. If it's applicable, let us know. If not, we'll just move on to the next one. You want to do that? You want to start? Do you have the lightning round Q&A?
Oh, lightning round, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
this
Kim,
is a fun one. Yes.
What does pride mean to you?
Sorry, say that again.
What does pride mean to you?
Pride means to be authentic. To be authentic and be who you are and be okay with being who you are and have that support system.
That is awesome. We should all be proud.
Yes.
Have you ever had to choose between your identity as LGBTQ plus or being Asian?
Before I had to. Now that we have NAAAP Pride, not so much.
Hey!
Yes. Yes, I'm so grateful for NAAAP Pride.
And we are grateful for you.
Yes, we are.
When we first started forming this and we realized we just had a bunch of male voices.
I know.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we need a female voice.
Where are a lesbian?
Yeah.
And all the other alphabets, all the plus sisters.
Yeah. And not just a female voice, but just a voice from a different part of the country and maybe a different age group. It was just, we needed some more diversity within our group, and you provided that. And we are so grateful that you are part of our group.
1 to 6, 7 languages.
Yes.
Yes.
What's your, I'm going to go to the next one. What's your first who was your first celebrity crush?
My first celebrity crush, huh?
The one that your sister said you clip and put in your closet?
I think it might have been Jessica Alba.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, Jessica Alba was the first one. Then I had Michelle Rodriguez. That was a good one too.
Who was that? Who was the second name? Michelle
think.
Rodriguez?
Yeah, she's Michelle Rodriguez. She's in Fast and Furious. The wife. Actually, you know what? No, that's not true. The first crush I had was Lucy Lawless in Xena. I just remember. I think I was 6. I thought, oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, I think we all had a crush, just for different reasons.
Right?
Someone's the costume.
Yeah.
Yes. I think those were my female celebrity crush. The one guy that I joke around and say, like, I would totally do that guy. Jason Momoa.
Who?
Jason Momoa. He's coming out in Aquaman, and I think he's in Game of Thrones and Stargate and all. I don't know if you guys seen him.
I'm gonna go look him up now.
Aquaman. Yes, I know. I saw the trailer. Yes. Yeah. Agree.
Right? That's the one guy I said, okay, I'll totally do it.
And maybe he's listening.
Right? That would be hilarious.
So what is your Pride song? What is your go-to Pride song?
It's funny, but the first time I listened to Let It Go from Frozen, I was like, that's my coming out song.
Oh my God. I would never have guessed that, but it makes sense. It does. It's going to be mine now.
Hilarious. I remember I watched that movie with my niece, and that song came out, and I felt so touched by it. I'm like, oh my God, it's telling me to come out.
I wonder if there's a dance remix of it.
I bet you there is.
Then I'll listen to it.
Yes, so whoever's listening out there, please do like a Pride version of it.
What does living an authentic life mean to you, Kim?
That means to be able to say what I think and do what I want and not worry about offending other people or bothering other people. I think I came up from an upbringing where I couldn't be me based on what people think I should be. And so that made me not authentic. And so to be able to talk and express myself and not worry about offending other people or saying things that, not worry so much about others and be more about myself. And I think that's what it means for me to live authentically, be authentic.
Knowing what you know today and living through the experiences that you went through, what advice would you give yourself before you came out?
I would have told myself to not be so afraid, and as long as I come from a place of love and to be true to myself, everything's going to be okay. Because I feel that I lost so much important interaction with people like my father because of being afraid. And so many choices I made in my life were based out of fear and not out of love. So I think I'll tell myself, as long as you come from a place of love, it should be okay.
Good. What would you say to parents who found out that their child or their children are LGBTQ plus?
I would tell them that their children are still part of them, and their children are also individuals and human beings, and especially to Asian parents, to respect that. I don't know why there's such a idea that your children belong to you and should do or follow what you do or say. Like, I think that's very damaging, even though they come from a good place. I would say love your children, respect that they're individuals and human beings.
What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about coming out to their family?
I would say come out first to someone that you know for sure has your back.
Yeah.
Someone that that would support you, because it's so important to have that person with you so that they can help you come out to the rest of the family.
Sometimes that person may not be your family member too,
True.
You need
True.
to
It could be
collect all
chosen
that.
family.
Yeah, chosen
Yes.
family.
Mm-hmm. Agree. It could be chosen family. I think if my sister wasn't there for me when I came out to my dad, I might not have the courage to come out to him. So I'm really grateful for her for being there. And, my ex-husband, my friends, all these people that were there for me to help me make the process of coming out less scary. Yes.
I had one last question. It wasn't like we didn't talk to you about this beforehand, so if you don't want to answer, that's okay. But as a leader with NAAAP Pride, what would be the one thing that you would like to see NAAAP Pride accomplish in 2019? What goal or accomplishment would you like to see us fulfill?
I would like for every single NAAAP chapter to be allied with us, and that every single event that NAAAP does to be LGBT friendly.
That is an amazing goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so too.
We will make it happen.
Yes, we definitely will. We are forced to be. I mean, we've done so much in such a short amount of time. I'm sure we can definitely make this happen.
Kim, thank you so much for sharing all your stories, your struggles, your coming out process, the relationships you've had. It's very empowering for people to listen to our individual stories. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you
No,
so
thank
much.
you.
And getting to
Thank you.
know you, I just wanted to say that it's been quite a pleasure getting to know you, and we are so proud of what you've done with Nat Pride and for Nat Pride, and we look forward to the future.
Doing
Oh, thank
more.
you. I'm really grateful to be part of NAP Pride and knowing that I can be Asian and proud.
Yes,
Yes.
Gaijin.
Yes,
All
definitely.
right. Thank you so much, Kim.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now you all know why we love our Kim. Isn't she amazing?
Yes, she is. I love her positive outlook, her passion for helping people, her humor, and her desire to help Nat Pride continue to grow and touch the lives of Asian American LGBTQ plus folks. I also really appreciate her authenticity, her professionalism, and the leadership that she brings to the Nat Pride team. If any of our listeners are interested in learning more about Nat Pride or being a part of the Nat Pride National Leadership Team, please share your comments with us. You can email us at pridetalk@nap.org. That's pridetalk@NAAAP.org. You can even call us and leave us a voice comment. Our number is 4197-PRIDE-5. That's 4197-PRIDE-5. And of course, you can find all this information in the show notes, as well as our website, pride.nap.org. That's pride.NAAAP.org.
And a quick shout out to NAAP, the National Association of Asian American Professionals, which is a nonprofit organization that cultivates and empowers Asian and Pacific Islanders leaders through leadership development, professional networking, and community service. Check them out at naap.org. That's NAAAP.org. We also want to thank our corporate sponsor, Molson Coors, for their continued support of NAAP Pride and this podcast, and for their commitment to fostering open and inclusive workplaces where all employees are valued, engaged, and inspired to be the best they can be.
Okay, folks, that's a wrap for Season 2. Thanks so much to Dr. Kim Liu for sharing your story. And thank you to our fabulous listeners for going on this journey with us. Please subscribe and share with your friends and colleagues. Thanks to the rest of our Nat Pride National Leadership Team, Anthony out of Minnesota, Keith out of Los Angeles, Terry from Cincinnati, Harris from Boston, and of course Kim from Miami. And this is David from Kansas City.
And John, also from Kansas City. We look forward to connecting with everyone for Season 3, where our special guest will be Broadway and television star Telly Leung. Believe me, you will not want to miss it. Will he sing for us, I wonder? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out more. Actually, better yet, subscribe to the podcast so when Season 3 is out, you won't miss a thing. But until then, remember this, representation matters, so be seen, be heard, be loud, and be proud. Goodbye until the next season. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
The opinions expressed on Pride Talk are solely those of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views or opinions of our individual employers, NAAP, or our sponsors.